So welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. I have two people in the studio at the moment. They are persons who have survived burns, and what we're going to do at the moment is hear their chilling stories and the campaign that they have launched in support for burns victims of the Atomic Junction explosion. Dennis Opoku-Gyamfi is the president of the Ghana Burns Foundation. Or is it, did I get that right? Ghana Burns Survivors Foundation.
Yes, I like
right.
the
You're welcome, Dennis. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Also here in the studio with me is Gesta or Jester? Gesta. It's Gesta Razak Blessing. Okay. Pardon me for that. Gesta, you're welcome as well. Both of you are welcome.
Thank you.
I'm sitting here looking at your faces and feeling very lucky. And I'm sure it's not fair to feel that way, but what happened to both of you?
Yeah.
Can I start with you?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
I sustained burn injury when I was just 1 year old, and I've been living with this, image for the past 30 years.
So you've had this,
yes,
your face looked like this for as long as how many years?
Yeah, over 30 years now. And,
over 30 years
yes,
now?
Yes.
What happened?
Oh, I was a kid and my face got into hot water.
Hot water?
Yeah, for a long time nobody was there to rescue me, and I had to be in it till some hours, and glory be to God that for now I'm okay. It happened that I had to go through series of practice surgery. I mean the reconstructive,
okay.
The whole for
so this is actually something that's been worked on,
yes,
so to speak.
And it's still work in progress.
Okay, so what's going to happen? They keep working on it until it gets better?
Yes, I just did one at Comfort Noche by Dr. Emmanuel Edu, the reconstructive practice surgeon, just recently. So you can see the left eye with some sort of contractures and chaos there.
Wow.
So I just finished the surgery, and it's still in progress. I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'll be working on my left hand. They will be straightening it.
Okay.
And I will be working.
Are you able to unfold, roll up your sleeve to let me have a look at it?
Oh,
is that possible?
That's no problem.
Well, so whilst you do that, let me find out from Gesta what his story is. Gesta, what's your story?
My story is an acid burns.
Okay.
Yeah, it's happening in the room like a Galamsey town, Konongo, Udumase. So they kept the acid in our corridors. So when, like in the midnight, I woke up to go and urinate, and I thought there was somebody who was going to steal the acid or something. So the person has finished opening the drum. So when he heard that I'm coming out, he left it and it fell on the ground. So I did not know, and
you fell down.
Yeah. No, I just get into it. So I fell unconscious.
So this is not just your face; it's all over your body. Wow.
Yeah.
It must have been extremely painful.
Not extremely, more super.
Because I'm sure that's why you passed out. So you passed out, you collapsed.
Yeah. All I saw was that instantly that I smelled the acid. Okay. After that, I did not see anything.
You didn't see anything else. So this is how your hand looks like, and maybe the camera can help us a bit with a little bit of a zoom so we can understand that it looks pretty much like your hands are closing in.
Yeah. So they have to release this the contractors here.
Yeah.
They will be releasing it, and it's work in progress.
So as it stands now, you can't stretch your hand.
Now, I can do it, but when I overdo that, it turns out to be painful.
Painful.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I've been exercising it.
So it's working.
Yeah. So we have what we call hidden, contractors. Most of our parts we cannot show it out.
Okay.
But I can tell you, most of the ladies in our association, most of them have a difficulty even urinate.
So they can't even urinate.
Sometimes their private parts are, just closed down because of contractures. And also we have, men ending out to be impotents. It happens. So we say, after burns, you have unique challenges you have to deal with, and survivor is not just enough. You have to get that extra.
And the trauma alone.
Yes.
So you have this association, and this association is made up of a lot of people from those who suffered from the June 3 flood and fire disaster.
Yes.
I don't know if you've made any contact with those who got burned at the Atomic Junction. You do.
Yes. Now, as it stands now, you see. Those people with the severe burn injury, they are the people that really need our support. We have survivors offering assistance to other survivors. That's the SOA program. So as soon as we heard about it, we went to the various hospitals. We collected their data, and those we could talk to, we talked to them. We have to arrange with them and get a private, place to be able to do that, sensitization. The mood of you accepting your new image. It's not just an ordinary thing. You have to work it out. If you don't work it out, you don't get it. I'm talking to you, I can show you this, I can be in front of your camera just because I've been, impacted with something. And that is exactly what we believe that we have to get to other people so they can also get a chance of, having their life back.
The confidence to at least be able to get into people.
It goes beyond the confidence, because you're dealing with a situation where you have to see somebody who has transitioned from the period that you have been through. I can tell you exactly what is going through their mind. Why? Because I have been there and I know exactly what happens. After that, you'll be thinking about going back to the house. What is going to happen? How are people going to accept me? Is my wife still going to go without me? I mean, my children going to accept me?
Are you married?
Oh, yes.
You're married. So
yes.
was your wife concerned about the way you look? But when you
you see, the kind of society we live in, I must admit that people will talk about it. But you see, that unique thing that I have that I think others do not have is what is equipping me to really get back to the society.
What is that? Courage?
Oh no, the tool to stand against teasing, unnecessary questions, and be able to feel comfortable. What is that tool? What do you do? Yes, that is you looking.
Beat them up?
Yes, no.
Oh, no.
Okay. Anyway, when I was a kid, when I didn't know anything about it, what happened? I used to throw stones.
Okay, when they teased you.
Yes, I was brought out from a place called Brecum. And as I'm talking to you, a lot of people will be talking about this. I was that harsh guy. But when I got to know the truth, when I got to know that special thing, I've been to the World Bank Congress several times in the States, and this is what is building me. Some of us, we have that, and it's not different. We can just impart it.
So what you're trying to do as an association is to help people who have this situation, or who are going to deal with this situation, on how to deal with it, how to live with it.
It's not just like that. Empowering these people through, peer support, advocacy, and education as well.
Let me bring guests up into this conversation again. Guest, do you have a girlfriend? Are you married?
Nah, I'm not married. You're not married. I have a girlfriend.
You have a girlfriend. Before you had the accident or after? Yeah. Before?
Yeah.
Did she stay with you after?
Still, she stayed with me. Still. Oh. And now she's a policewoman right now.
Oh, wow.
And my wife is a midwife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at
this is great stuff. This is great stuff. Did you at any point feel she was going to leave?
She was the one, I think, saved my life, because at the time that I thought I have lost everything, she was there. So I think she was the one. Paulina.
Paulina. Do you want to? You don't mind? If you don't mind, you can give us her full name just so we acknowledge her.
Paulina was saying.
Paulina say, right? Yeah. Okay, so Miss Paulina say, I understand you're a policewoman. This gentleman right here is very appreciative of your support for him throughout. I mean, it's not easy, but he says that you stood with him through it. And your wife is?
Angela.
Oh, that's Equifree.
Yeah, she was in the special award at Confanochi teaching hospital.
Wow, wow, great stuff. Let's look at those. I see. Yeah. Let's look at those who are, but you're looking forward to getting married, right?
I'm building him up more.
You don't seem to have...
you get it.
Me? I have him for a bit.
I see. For those who suffered at the June 3 and those who are at Atomic right now, what is your association doing? What are the plans? What is it that I understand some of them have not received compensation or anything like that. What's happening?
Yes, this issue is not much clear to me now, but I still still to get more explanation from the authorities. Just I must confess that it's a new government, and the way they are doing their things seems to be different from others. But you see, for people to go through this trauma, for them to get back to the society, not just only the compensation you have to give.
Money is not enough.
Yes, you have to get them proper rehabilitation. And this is what we are preaching for. We don't even have one rehabilitation as a country to deal with this situation. I mean, I think it's one of the most, very important things we have to be looking at.
A burns rehabilitation
Yes.
Unit, sort of.
No, it's not just unit. You know, the unit, even the unit, we don't have counselors who are basically attached to the unit.
Okay.
I mean, the clinical psychologists who are working at the unit, it's only some few places like Kolebu that you get to see them. But, you know, the burns doesn't just happen in only Accra. For all you know, people in the remote areas, they go through a lot. We must get a proper setup. You know, I was thinking about, I was talking about this during the last time, that we must get a national policy on these things, because you never know how and where it's going to happen again. Because you can't just, once we are dealing in a society like that, you know, we have
so
people.
beyond the burns rehab center, for example, that your association is asking for, what else? If you were to be speaking to President Akufo-Addo or to the health minister or anybody who might be directly in charge, what would you tell them when it comes to, in terms of the interest of the people who suffer burns from June 3 and Atomic Junction?
Yes, I must confess that the Minister for Gender, Ms.
Social
Tiko,
Protection,
Otiko, and I don't know, is it the road minister?
The road minister. Go ahead.
They've done something about the toll boothing.
With
they've been given some sort of employment in a way, right? We are part of Ghana Federation of Disability, and this is what, you know, made us also enjoy that little package that they brought it out. But we really appreciate it. But we believe that, you know, people with image problem, with disfigurement, goes a long way to get a job. Sometimes you are being stigmatized. You don't get that fair treatment anyway, even though you are more educated. You seems to have whatever.
But what is it? Is it that they look at your face and they are scared, and so they don't want to employ you?
You just asked me what happened to me. It means something is wrong with me, right?
Yeah. So what happened to your face?
Yes.
Basically? Okay. So the moment they see you,
even if they don't ask that, they begin to think that something is wrong with this guy. He can't even, you know, mingle with people. Right. For instance, you cannot get your company and get me on the front desk to be doing these things for you. But meanwhile, I have the capabilities to do that.
To be a front desk.
Yes.
What is it that, you used to do that now you can't do anymore?
Oh, like I used to play football a lot. Yeah.
But now you can't play football anymore.
I can play, but I can't play like as much as I used to play. Yeah.
At the time that you after you had this accident, have you tried to apply for any job or try to get a job and you didn't because of how you looked?
Sometimes the fear of rejection too comes in, because you yourself, because of how people will treat you, you'll not even go
make the
on
attempt
and do that.
But why don't you just make the attempt? Because you never know. You never know who you're going to meet.
And it's like, if you have met 10 people and 9 of them have rejected you, means the last one to
you never know, the last one might be your savior. We're running out of time, unfortunately, so let me take your quick thoughts or your final words on what's happening so far. Do you think, where do you stand, the association stand, when it comes to what the new regulations that government is trying to implement? You think it's good?
As a matter of fact, some of us, we've been preaching against this. And imagine you having a trotro or taxi with gas, you know, as they are sort of, you know, foreign, and they get to that plantain, you know, flyer seller who just open the boot, and the next thing you hear, boom, it happens. We have series of stories that, I mean, for them to do this, some of us, in a way, we do understand that maybe it can be done better for all, to the betterment of the country and the people living in, because you might not know. We are all
so where do you stand on this? Is what government is trying to do? First of all, they're trying to close down people, stations that do not, in their opinion, have the right to be operating. They are trying to cut down. Actually, those who are for pending applications, they're making sure that you don't get through to the cessation of pending applications. If you haven't had it already, you can't have it. Now there's going to be a big one plan where you don't just walk to the gas station to fill your cylinder, but then you have the cylinders already pre-filled and you go for them. Are these good interventions?
If it is the betterment of the people,
do you think it will help?
Oh yes, in a way, it will help. It will help. Just because, you know, we live in a society, everybody can just get up and do something, I mean, to his satisfaction.
Okay.
And this is something that when we do it, we're going to, you know, investigate cases, make sure the right thing is done, then we can give, I mean, the recommendations, and then we can practice that for a while. Okay. If it happens, then we move on. I think it's something that I'll go for.
All right. Yeah? Okay, so your final word will be what? Yes, sir.
My final words will be like to the general public, how we treat people who suffer burns. You might see that you are living with a person, or you have a boyfriend or a husband or a classmate or something, but instantly the person comes from the hospital with disfigurement. Then the kind of relationship that you give to the person can cause the person even to cause suicide or do something else or feel like bad. Right. So I think if we get to accept that, it can happen to anybody because it just happened just a second.
Then it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's about acceptance. It's about how you treat people who are close to you. Yeah. Whilst you look at what are your expectations finally on what government should do with those who are suffering burns from these two major accidents?
One, they must make sure they get them restored. When I say restored, not just about, you know, making sure that they get the necessary compensation to start life over, but the most important thing is to get them a very nice rehabilitation program to roll on. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. And I really admire your courage. I can't imagine this happening to me, but I really admire your courage and how you have been able to keep it together. And I pray that you keep going on. And once again, kudos to their wives, the women who are behind these men, who are supporting them and making sure that they live. Like he's saying, it's not easy. You can think suicide is one of the very first things you perhaps think when you lose that acceptance that people give you. Dennis Opoku-Jemfi is the president of the Ghana Burns Survivors Foundation, the Ghana Burns Survivors Foundation. Thank you very much for coming once again. Gesta Razak Blessing is, of course, a member, and they're looking
with the reconstructive practice surgeons working at the various units in the country.
Right.
At this time, you never know what they are going through.
They're going through a lot.
A lot is happening. Dr. Mpuma, the Kolebu, Edu, Abeneku, Apelu, I mean, a broker, they are all doing
we might have to find some day and catalog all of these doctors.
We appreciate them. We appreciate them.
Right, right. Yeah. So all of the surgeons who are working on people's reconstructive surgery, etc., the nurses, you know, the nice ones. Thank you very much for the good work you're doing, and God bless you. That's what they're telling you at this moment. In the meantime, officials of Ghana Gas have been addressing a news conference to react to allegations by tanker drivers that gas from a trouble is partly to blame for the Atomic Junction blast. Here is CEO Benasante.
We have some issues with respect to the quality of the gas coming from the Atuabo gas processing point. The short answer to that is there are no quality issues at all. And I think I want to start by talking about the source of all the LPG that come into Ghana. There are three sources mostly. Traditionally, there have been imports certainly into the country. We also have on occasion some LPG production from TOR. So TOR imports some crude, and then one of the products is LPG. And then lately, the third source has been Ghana Gas's LPG production unit at Atuabo. Now, it's important to note that LPG comes primarily from two sources, either from crude oil or from raw gas. The LPG from crude oil has got a low vapor pressure. I think that's an issue that I'll talk about again momentarily. But that of Ghana Gas has got a slightly higher pressure, vapor pressure, that is. Now, the Ghana Standards Authority is the entity that is charged with making sure that any gas that goes into the market meets the specifications in terms of vapor pressure and indeed other properties. When you look at the value chain of gas production from Atuabo, Ghana Gas gets its gas from tallow. It's raw gas. It goes to Atuabo. At Atuabo, we do essentially two things. The gas coming from tallow is usually wet gas. So we separate, and the gas is wet with oil. So there's some oil attached to the gas. So we separate the oil from the gas. And the dry gas then is what we send to Abuaze for power generation. Then the liquids that remain. We get LPG from it, we get condensates, then we get pentanes. LPG, Ghana Gas hands that over to a loading country. Basically, in this case, it's Quantum Terminals who takes custody of the separated LPG and then puts them, or we call them, it loads them onto trucks. And the trucks send these LPG to all the gas stations. And eventually, you and I go and get some of this LPG for our domestic use.
CEO of Ghana Gas there. Let's take you back to the atomic junction, the scene of that deadly blast that claimed 7 lives about a week ago. JoyNews' Nancy Emefa-Jadosi traveled with Parliament's Education Committee, who visited the Presec Senior High School today. They discovered the devastation suffered by the school during the blast. Here's, well, let's hear from Lady Queen Efuye Akofi, who is the headmistress for Legon Presec.
The impact of the explosion got the new assembly hall, the roofing, it's made of TNG, coming off. And yeah, not all, but the ceiling, yeah, coming is a little affected. We had a whole lot of things that were equally not in place psychologically, and then there was this big part of the wall that was the fence wall of the school that is broken. Yeah, and a huge pipeline, the major pipeline, I think supplying water to the community near the overpass too was affected. But the following day, I think Ghana Water came to restore the situation. And then a few computers, about 4 of them, were affected. They wouldn't work, 1 television set. But as many as about 7,000, 7,000 or 700, 7,000 blades of louvers. I mean, they just kept shattering. In fact, the impact was such that you would think it was happening, everything was happening in the school, but no fire came around. It was on the bridge area. And so we will go and see for ourselves, I mean, what actually happened. And then
Lady Queen Efuye Akofi is the headmistress of the Legon Presec. Let me take a very quick break. When I return, I'll tell you what the Media Foundation for West Africa is doing in terms of supporting journalism in West Africa, and also that picture that you just saw there, Madam Otiko Officer Jaba and the Deputy Chief of Staff, Mr. Bujinapo, in that selfie. We'll tell you why she took that photo and why she doesn't really mind all the trolling that happened to her on social media.